Hello, this video will go over some practice problems from lesson 3-1. We're going to start with number 5. So in this lesson, we learned how to use a proportion to find a percent of the number. So we're going to start with the percent, which is 59 over 100. That's going to be the first part of our proportion. And 100% goes with the total number, which is 640, and we'll put X on the top. That's how we can set this up. Now to solve it, we are going to multiply both sides by 640. That is a 640, you can't tell right there. And those would cancel over here. And then I just need to use my calculator. And I would get on this side, so X would equal 377.6. All these problems can be set up this way. We just need to remember to start with a percent. So for part B, that will be 0.2%. So you're going to keep it 0.2 over 100. We don't know the part. That's what we're finding. And this will be the 3,542. What I would do is multiply both sides by 3,542. Don't know why it won't let me write over here. When I solve that, they will cancel. So I'll get X on this side, and then I just need to type in my calculator. And you will get 7.084. Because that's a small percent, it makes sense that that's a small amount of the number. I'm going to go up here and erase some of this so that I can actually see the next problem. I have space to write it. And then we'll do C and D. So here we have 195%. That's 195 out of 100. The part is what we're finding. And this number goes across from the 100. Again, we'll just multiply so that these two cancel. And what I do on one side, I got to do on the other side. And when you do that, you just need to put it in your calculator. And you get, over here it's X, and X equals 1,107.6. Continuing on here to part D, start with your 74%, which is 74 out of 100. The 920 is the denominator. Again, it won't let me write on that screen. So you'll multiply both sides by 920. I'll try to do that up here. And divide by 920. These would cancel. We're left with X. And I just need to use my calculator. And I will get 680.8. Okay, we're moving to the next problem, which is number 7. This is a local little league has a total of 60 players, 80% of them who are right-handed. How many right-handed players are they? So this is a fill-in-the-blank situation, and you can see that they started to write the percent over here. So I know that that's 80%, so it would be 80 out of 100. And they have the 60 across from the 100, and I'm trying to find the X. That's the first step, which is setting up the proportion. They already started to solve it, To get rid of divided by 60, I multiply by 60, and I do that on both sides. Here it's having us multiply 80 by 60 and get that in between number, which is 4,800. Then we divide by 100, and we find that there are 48 right-handed players. Sandra's volleyball team over here has a total of 20 uniforms. 20% are medium-sized uniforms. How many uniforms are medium-sized? So again, it looks like they put the percent over here. So that's 20 out 100. That's my 20%. And this 20 corresponds to the whole amount of uniforms they have. So I need to find that part amount of uniforms that are medium-sized. So that's the proportion. Now we can just multiply both sides by 20. But these cancel. 20 times 20 is 400. Then we divide by 100, and we get 4 medium-sized uniforms. Going to move down. Question 9 and 10. Meg is a veterinarian. In a given week, 50% of the 16 dogs that she saw were boxers. Steve is also a veterinarian. In the same week, 7 of the 35 dogs he saw this week were boxers. Which ones to record the part, the whole, and the percent? Oh, each wants to record the part, the whole, and the percent. What does Meg need to find? And it lists all 3 of those things. Well, I can see that Meg already has her percent, and this is the percent of the total. So she's missing the part. And we could find that part if we wanted to, because we know 50%, it's 50 out of 100, of the total is 16. And just what we've been doing before, multiplying each side by 16. These cancel. And when I type this in my calculator, I would get 8. So I know that her part is the 8 boxers. Steve over here, he has been given the part. He's given the total amount of dogs. Now he just needs to find the percent. And we can do that by writing the percent as the part over the whole. And then just finding what percent that is using our calculator, which would be 7 divided by 35. When I get that, I get 0.2, and I know that that's 20%. If you're unsure what the percent is, you always can multiply by 100 when you have the decimal. Moving on here, we have Olivia as a stockbroker. She makes 4% of sales in commission. Last week, she sold this many worth of stocks. How much commission did she make? So we'll start with the percent, which was 4%, 4 over 100. And I know that that 100 goes with the whole amount, and she sold that much as her whole amount. Solving this proportion, we just want to get rid of the dividing by the 7,200 so we can multiply by that amount. Do the same thing on each side. Really running out of space here. When you solve this, these would cancel, leaving us with x, and over here we would get 288. Oops, there it is. So that's how much she made in commissions. That's extra money that she earned. If she were to average the same commission each week, how much would she be able to make commission in a year, treating a year as exactly 52 weeks? So I could just take her commission rate per week, which we just calculated, and multiply that by 52. Put that in our calculator. He'll find that she gets $14,000 and 976. $14,976. Okay, moving on to number 11. The registration fee for a used car is 0.8%. That's less than 1% of the sales price of 5,700. How much is the fee? So we'll take that and write it as a percent over 100. And we know that we're finding the fee and that this is 5,700. Just like we've done before, we're going to multiply always by this number over here. And we'll do that on both sides. This cancels. And we just need to use a calculator to figure out what that amount is. And when you do that, you get 45.6 in the calculator. But that, since they're asking for the fee, and that's the money, that we're going to put a 0 there, and that's $45.60. Going over to number 12, we have a table down here I see. It says the total cost of an item and is the price plus the sales tax. So when you're selling something, this is what they're selling it for. Each state and area has a different sales tax. So in this area, it's 4%. And we're just going to be asked to complete the table and then find the total. So the first thing we need to do is find 4% of that. And we could set up a proportion, just like we've been doing before. 4 out of 100 is 4. And we're going to put our 40 down here. To solve for our missing value, multiply both sides by 40. And then use our calculator. And I get 1.6 in the calculator. So I know that's $1.60. Now we find the total cost. I know the total cost would be $40, which is the amount of the item we're buying, plus our tax. So that's going to be $41.60. Gonna keep on moving here. On number 13, it says, is 700% of 5 less than 10, greater than 10, but less than 100 or greater than 100? Now this is very confusing, but we just focus on this part and just find what 700% of 5 is. This will make more sense when we actually have that number. So I'm going to write 700 over 100, and that my total is 5 because that's my total. Of will always have, right after of will always have my total. I'm going to multiply both sides by 5. And I know when I do this, these cancel. I have x equaling 35. So, is this less than 10? Nope. Greater than 10, but less than 100. That's where it is. We're falling in the greater than 10, but less than 100 range. And here is our proof. And we just set up a proportion and solve for that amount. Now we're going to do the same thing over here. So we'll look at 250%, which is 250 out of 100. And that's 250% of 44, so that goes across from the 100. Multiplying both sides by 44. And I'm calculating right here. And that is 110. These canceled, so I just had X. So looking at that, that is in the category that is greater than 100, but less than 150. And that brings us to the end of these practice problems.